Hi Star Wars fans, today I want to review for you Plo Koon's Jedi Starfighter from the Clone Wars. So this is my first Jedi Starfighter actually. They've made a lot of them. There's Anakin's and Obi-Wan's. I think, is it Mace Windu's that's in the Rise of Boba Fett Battle Pack, and Kit Fisto's and Plo Koon's. I just thought this one had the coolest design on it, so I bought this on Wednesday. And here, just have a look at it. It's kind of like the Japanese rising sun thing, you know, with the beams going out of it. Of course, this is not red and white; it's blue and white. But I think it's really cool. I think it's my favorite looking of the Jedi Starfighters because it has such like a recognizable color scheme to it, and like recognizable design, I guess. And of course, right now I have R2-D2 in there with Plo Koon because he's the same colors. He's, you know, blue and white and silver, and I've got Plo Koon there in the cockpit. Not the Clone Wars Plo Koon, the realistic version. I don't remember if he's Saga Legends or if he was Legacy Collection, because there's two very similar Plo Koons. This is the one that his face mask does come off. But yeah, overall, I just think that this is a really good looking vehicle. It's every one of these little lines all over the thing is you know, sculpted grooves. And that's kind of neat. It gives it a lot of texture. Well, I mean, physically a lot of texture, but also visually, it looks much more interesting than, you know, if it were just smooth over. Also, there's a lot of sculpting detail. Like this whole strip right here is all little sculpted panels and whatnot. On the back, there's a lot of little sculpting detail, even little rivets and stuff like that. And that's pretty nice, especially because the paint on this, you know, there's no weathering. The Clone Wars line, like, they never do weathering on anything. I know they don't on the characters, and I don't think they do on the vehicles, especially if this is anything to show. And that can make it look a little toy-y, not so, you know, realistic, but it's more excusable, I guess. Just because you're not going to pay attention to like little weathering details when the whole thing is just like vibrant and beautiful to begin with. On a couple places on the vehicle, you see it has that I don't know, like the Empire logo or the Republic logo. I don't even know what to call it because, you know, there's the whole continuum. But let's look at some of the features it has. So of course it's got these two guns on top, which you can put these little projectiles in, and here, I'll shoot them for you. I hope you can see this, but pew! And that's kind of weak. Yeah, I was actually surprised. They're kind of weak springs in there. And then they also have one underneath that gets pulled out like that. And this gun not only is just, you know, a projectile, but this is also doubles as a support for when it's sitting down. It's not necessary. The thing still sits upright by itself. It doesn't, you know, topple forward or anything like that. But it's still nice to have, and I think it is necessary for something that I'll show you in, I guess, right now. This is necessary landing gear for if you separate the ship, because these ships are separatable. You're able to separate them into two different ships. Yeah, there they are. And you know, even though I put R2-D2 in here right now, I could just as well put a person in there, like Anakin here, and then you can have, you know, a person in each one of the little ships. This one kind of resembles the Jedi Starfighter from, let's see, from Revenge of the Sith, especially because of, you know, this design right here. Of course, it's not the same one from Revenge of the Sith, but it somewhat resembles it. The nice thing is that when you separate them, there's still a lot of sculpting in there, and there's sculpting on the back of this. You know, you can see here's the peg that, you know, it inserts into, but you know, they didn't just tack on this feature. Like it's actually, you know, sculpted to look like a finished product even when they're separated. Also, these wings that automatically pop out, they're spring-loaded. They have detailed sculpting on here, but again, no special paint or anything like that. The paint is, you know, not realistic. It's a Clone Wars line, a Clone Wars line vehicle. Now, as a collector, I don't really care about this feature. Like, I can't really ever envision myself, you know, separating these and like and displaying them in this fashion. However, if you're buying this for a kid, I think this is a really cool feature to have, because it means that that if they want to play with a friend or a sibling or something like that, one ship can actually turn into two things to play with each other. And you know, since they both can put a character in it, you know, all they need is two action figures and one ship, and they have enough to both have something to play with, which is really cool. Now, of course. Oh yeah, no, I guess it's even that this ship has two guns, these two up here, and this ship has the one gun down below. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it's a good way to do it, because it means that both ships can even shoot, you know? It's not like one gets all the guns and one doesn't. So as far as that goes, I think that was really smart. I think this is really neat, especially because I don't know what other sort of features they would put on a ship like this. You know, I don't think there's, you know, flaps or anything like that. So I think this is smart, even though it's not something that as a collector I really care about. Oh, and just so you know, the inside of here where I put Anakin is actually made for a person to sit in. You can see that there's a place for each of their legs to go into. There's little controls on the side, and it's most definitely intentional that you can put a person in there. It's just also, you know, for the droid, but I presume for the droid just when they're connected. Let's see, R2-D2, get in there. Yeah, and it fits the droids really well. This is nice and snug around R2-D2. And the way that the ships get put together is there's a little groove that kind of perfectly goes into, and then you just slide them together and it automatically folds up, which is kind of neat. The main cockpit is kind of neat, like the rest of the ship. I mean, this is kind of a theme for this, and I don't know, maybe it's a theme for all Clone Wars vehicles, because, like I said, this is my first one. But there's a lot of detail sculpting inside, but not detailed paint. There were no decals or anything to install on this. I think that these emblems were stickers, but they come pre-installed. Although they might be paint, it's hard for me to tell. But this is kind of strange. This joystick or whatever right in there is actually it's rubber. It's not plastic, which was kind of strange. I thought it was totally plastic, and then I touch it and it's like bends, and I'm like, whoa, that's weird. There is, however, some nice yellow accenting inside the cockpit, which does not appear anywhere else on the ship. That's the only place where that color is. Which is cool. So all in all, I think these Jedi Starfighters are pretty cool, because with the different paint jobs on the various versions that they have out, it means that as a collector we can, you know, choose which ones we think are the coolest and display them, and, you know, they have their corresponding Jedi that go with it. And as far as for kids and stuff, and people, you know, buying for kids that like to play with their toys, I think all the features on this are really smartly built for play. So yeah, this is a pretty cool ship, and I'm very glad I got it. I would recommend it to pretty much anyone for those reasons I just said. Although, I don't know, maybe you wouldn't want the Plo Koon one. Maybe this isn't your favorite paint job. Maybe it's the green and red Kit Fisto, or green and brown, I don't remember. Or let's see, is Obi-Wan red's and Anakin's is yellow? I always forget. Well, anyways, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.